Hey everyone, we're here with Peter and we're going to talk about virtual volumes, how they differ from vSAN, what the benefits are. Peter, let's just get into it. Virtual volumes, it's fairly new, I'd say. How does it differ from vSAN? What is the important thing where customers have to look at when they're making a choice?
So virtual volumes now enables our storage partners to realize the same benefits that vSAN has been able to realize through virtual volumes.
Right, because vSAN is for internal server storage, where vVol is for the storage area networks and everything?
Absolutely. vSAN enables you to leverage the capacity of the internal drives across the pool of storage in the cluster. So now you have the internal disk creating a pool, and we leverage vVols to store virtual machine objects onto that pool.
Okay.
So now with vVols for external storage coming for vSphere.next, will enable the ability to leverage that same vVol storage provisioning and capability to external storage arrays.
And you mentioned partners already. Can you name a couple of the partners that are going to be integrated into this?
Well, I'd hate to exclude because there's so many, but I know EMC and NetApp and IBM and Dell and HP and a bunch of the others around will all have what's called vVol providers.
Yeah.
So vVol works in conjunction with VASA and allows our storage vendors to realize the full potential of storage policy-based management.
Right, so basically all the big vendors are into it, and if you want to know if your vendor is supporting this, just connect to your vendor and they'll be able to tell you if they'll support it.
Correct, absolutely. We expose the API, and the vendors can write to the API if they choose. And I would be surprised if 95% of the vendors here aren't already part of the vVol discussions and creating a provider.
Perfect. So if I'm a customer, why would I want to buy vVols, or why would I want to use vVols?
So customers right now won't buy vVols. It'll be a feature that gets exposed. The benefits are twofold. One is it allows customers to realize the full potential of storage policy-based management. They can partially recognize it today through VASA, vStorage APIs for Storage Awareness, but now with the addition of vVols, they can take the full benefit. The next real benefit is essentially no LUNs, no volumes, no LUNs. So it simplifies and eliminates a lot of the storage administration and management. And then the third benefit is storage performance, storage data services that can be surrounded around focusing on the virtual machine.
And by storage performance, you mean tiering of storage performance, like gold, silver, platinum?
Absolutely. So what we end up doing or the storage arrays end up doing through VASA is exposing the container of capacity. So each vendor does that differently. They might have a pool, they might have an aggregate. In the case of NetApp, they might have a RAID group. Whatever they decide to create for a pool of capacity, that becomes a container that through VASA gets exposed to vCenter. So now the storage admin can take advantage of that and start provisioning. The way he does that is by creating storage policy. And so different vendors will have different features that through policy we can expose and pick and choose which features we want to enable for which virtual machines, or actually for which individual virtual machine objects.
Right, and this may be an obvious question, but I'm assuming this is open for a heterogeneous environment of storage. So if you have NetApp and EMC and IBM, this doesn't matter. We all expose it in the same way, obviously adhering to the different features of each vendor.
Absolutely. Storage policy-based management and vVols is aimed to support all storage. Anybody wants to participate. So you can absolutely have a cluster of hosts that have vSAN enabled and are leveraging that in-host disk pool as one pool of capacity. They could be connected through NFS to NetApp and take advantage of that pool of capacity, to an iSCSI storage array in that pool, to an array that supports all three protocols and take advantage of that pool.
So ultimate flexibility for the customer, that's in the end what it's all about. And it just happens to be that we're in front of a demo station. Can you show us a little bit about how this is configured, what the options are that the admins will see?
Yeah, definitely. So this is the storage policy-based management interface. We happen to have registered already the NetApp storage provider, so the VASA storage provider and vVol provider. With that exposes the capabilities of NetApp. So we've created this policy, we've given it a name, and now we're at the point of picking and choosing what features of the array that we want to take advantage of for this policy. So because we chose NetApp, they have a feature called autogrow. They support compression, deduplication, flash cache. If this was an EMC array, instead of flash cache, this would say fast cache. So, depending on the array.
So we're actually using the vendor's terms as well, so it's easy for all the storage admins to understand exactly what they're working with.
Exactly. Because I created this policy and chose a rule specific to the vendor's rule-specific capabilities we chose was NetApp, and we exposed the NetApp features. So now, this policy I can center around what NetApp can do. Maybe I'm creating a OS, I want this policy to be for my OS images, and so I want to enable dedupe. Maybe I create another policy later on that I want to enable for databases. I might not want to enable dedupe for a database, there might not be any benefit, but I certainly want to enable flash cache to get cache acceleration to accelerate the performance. So I would make sure that that's part of that.
Right.
When I go to provision my virtual machine, as this demo would run, I would get to a point where I can choose for each VMDK, what policy do I want to associate that to?
Exactly, and then by choosing the right policy, you choose to enable either flash cache or dedupe or whatever is appropriate for that VM.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Yep. Okay, well that's very clear. Is there anything else that you would like to show us in this demo, or?
This is a longer demo. It's like 3 or 4 minutes, but
this is the main gist of it.
The main gist is what are the capabilities that we expose, and then when you go to provision a virtual machine, you can now pick and choose how to expose that.
I mean, if I had to sort of summarize it, it's all about choice, it's all about ease of choosing the right type of storage, and it sort of gets you out of that single vendor lock-in as well, because you can do this for all the vendors, and if you want to change from NetApp to EMC or vice versa, that's possible, and you still keep the same management interface. Perfect.
Yep.
Well, thanks very much, Peter. It was really good to talk to you. So if you want to take advantage of this, be sure to follow, obviously, all the announcements around this, and whenever you start using vSphere.next, you'll be able to take advantage of all this technology. Thank you very much.